Hey guys, so today I'm going to tackle putting in a new e-brake switch. The other day when I was leaving work, I tried to put my top down and the top would not go down. The morning before I drove to work with the top down, there was no problems, went up fine. Just the next morning I went out and I was like, okay, well what's going on? So I noticed that my parking brake light is not illuminating once I turn the key. Once I turn the key and start the car, you can see the parking brake is up. There's no light. So here you can see the light's not illuminated at all, and the parking brake is up. The fuses aren't blown, and the top was working perfectly fine before that, so this is my best guess from the reading I've done and a little bit of research. This seems to be a pretty common part, and that is the part number right there, and I can put it in the description for you. At this point, I know that there's a little door over here on the console that I'll show you in a second that's easy to come off, and whether or not I can get to it that way, I'm not sure. Otherwise, I may have to take a little bit more of the center console out. Hopefully not, but we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. Okay, so right here is that little door, and you can just kind of pull this guy off. And then we got to figure out how to get, this needs to come off so I can get to the micro switch, what I believe is kind of under here somewhere. I haven't been able to find a great diagram yet. So I'm going to check this out a little bit, and I'll be right back with the camera turned on. Okay guys, so I've been researching online trying to figure out exactly how to get to the e-brake switch that I need to replace. I mean, we're talking, it's a $7 part and it's only like this big, but I got to remove a whole bunch of stuff apparently to get to it. Saw some references online to just pulling that cover that I showed you earlier, that you can replace it, but looking in there I really don't see how that's possible. So I just printed out these instructions, front and back. It's like 7 or 8 pages of instructions on how to get the center console out, which apparently looks like I have to do now. So I'm going to get started on that, and I'm going to film a little bit of it, but I probably won't do all of it on film, and then I will link the description to this in case you need it for future reference. So I went ahead and took off the battery cover and released the negative cable with a 10mm socket. Alright, step one is to pry up this cover on your shifter and then remove a little bolt back in there. So T20 Torx. We're going to unsnap these, which I kind of already started. So that's supposed to unsnap from the center console. Look at that. Pretty easily so far. Okay, so I unsnapped the passenger side and then the driver's side console. Now next step is to unsnap this lower center console, and you can see there's a plug on the back, so I got to unplug that. There's one on the other side as well. Okay, so now we're in the center console. We're going to lift up this mat. So take out the center mat. And then there's a, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little hex screw right here, and remove that screw, which is also a Torx 20. So removing that screw that was down in there, the plastic little bottom came out. So that was actually pretty straightforward. Right here. So they're talking about that little screw right there. And again, I apologize if you can't see it. This little coin holder deal, I just popped that out. That slides right in here. You just stick a screwdriver underneath it, popped right out, no problem. So I believe, see that there's a little screw down there. We now got a flashlight. There's a little screw down there that we have to take out now. Okay, so now we're onto the 2 screws underneath the coin holder, which I obviously have already taken out. So I'll pull those out. FYI, I apologize for not mentioning it. The previous screws are all T20s. these next two are a T30. Okay, so with those two screws out, be very careful with those. Those are just really flimsy plastic. Now we're going to pull this guy out. We're going to unclip these little wire harnesses, and then there's apparently there's a screw under here that we have to undo, and I'll give you a better shot of that in a second. Okay, so these switches, I've got obviously the front windows, the rear windows. I just wanted to show you these switches right here. They just actually pull off, but I was a little bit afraid to do that because I didn't want to break anything. So again, just did a quick bit of reading. And also, if you just kind of stick a screwdriver right here and you pry it a little bit, it kind of gets it going. And you still got to use quite a bit of force to pull it off. But I just wanted to assure you that that's all you have to do is just these pull right off. Just be careful. Obviously, you don't want to replace one of these if you don't have to. So, and then you see that little gray right here. There's a little light that plugs into that one. That one just comes out like a normal clip. So just pinch it and pull it out. Okay, so the next step is just to pull this guy off, and that's real easy. Just pull it from the top and just pop it right out. Just be careful with the tabs. That one came out pretty quickly. So right there's supposed to be a T20 Torx, but I do not have one. So apparently at some point that was lost. I'll probably try to find one at the store and see if I can replace that when I'm putting this all back together. Okay, so console's up, and I can see what I need to see here. There's a little wire that they say to take apart, and the key wire, whatever that is. I'm assuming it's this orange wire that I'm seeing here. This little guy right here, this black knob, black tip right there, and the white, that's the little guy we got to get out. So you can see it is interacting with the switch, so I'm assuming the switch is bad. So you see that little tab right there? This little guy. That's plugged in. I'm assuming that's plugged in to the little metal bracket down there. And then this just sits in there flush. There's nothing clipped in on the back. And then it just plugs in right there. Okay, so here's the one out, and you kind of have to break the tab a little bit. And what I did was I just put my screwdriver in and just kind of pried it out as carefully as I could after I unplugged this wire from it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the new one, I'm going to just reconnect the battery and plug it into here and see if we get our light. So you can see the parking brake, the light to the left. When I push the button on the new one, it goes out. So before I had no light, it wouldn't show up. So now it's working. So I just push the button and the light goes out. Bingo. There it is in there. I apologize, it's a little bright with the flashlight, but okay, so here's the trick to getting, see these little tabs, the ones I kind of had to break to get out. The trick to getting it in there, it is really tight. Obviously you can't move the shifter here. So you gotta kind of get it in this position here, underneath this little plastic piece, and then you got to push from the side. You got to line the little tabs up with the hole and push it in, and then rotate it up, and it'll click into place. Keep working at it, and you'll get them in there. Kind of, I use the tip of a screwdriver to kind of push the little tabs into the hole, and like I said, just be careful, and you'll get it eventually. Okay, now buttoning it back up. Make sure you plug your little wire back in and feed it into the metal clip there so it doesn't get pinched on anything. Then we're going to rotate the console back around and feed all these wires through. Make sure you plug this back in underneath, and then we'll reconnect the window regulators, etc. So replace your light wire, which is right here, and then your rear windows and front kind of came unplugged, but anyway, centerpiece inserted, the two T30 screws put back in, and just push it down, make sure it's in place. Reinsert the ashtray, And now you can see here I have the shifter bezel back in place, just clicks back in place. And that little center console that holds the heater buttons there in the middle, that's back in. And then the two side panels. And what you want to do is start from the front, put it in place, and then push the back in and it'll click into place. Okay, so the coin slot is back in, that clicks in. Don't forget to put the little screw underneath that. And then you have a screw in the bottom right corner underneath the plastic piece that goes in. And you have the screw in the plastic piece itself, and then the rubber mat goes on top. All right, so car's on, and the moment of truth, convertible top works, and the repair worked well. And actually it went pretty easily. I was surprised. So my audio stopped working, so I'm right here, I'm babbling on about how this little part caused the problem. It's easy to replace. It's only $7. I really don't know what I was saying, to be honest with you. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a comment or let me know. I'll be happy to help in any way I can. I was actually surprised at how simple it was to remove the center console and to get all that stuff out of the way. And it all ended up working out. So please subscribe, hit like if you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.